Hello, everybody! Welcome to Not a Sunday Fun Day. Alright, so quick explanation about why there is no Sunday Fun Day this week. It's not because we didn't want to go see Unhinged. Well,
We don't.
kind of don't really want to see it. But on top of that, there's not a whole lot of really new movies that we're like super jazzed about. There's one we're thinking about renting possibly. Might save that for next week, or we might have a little special Sunday Fun Day that might be a little bit later. Just depends. We'll figure it out here in a few hours. We can decide to do whatever we want, whatever we want. Jobs be damned! Sorry, I'm in a weird mood. But more importantly, there has been a huge...
A weird mood?
But more importantly, amongst everything, there was a massive amount of new information that we got dealing with the DCEU. As many of y'all have probably noticed, we're not the biggest fans of DC and what they have thought is the best way to how to market their property, or more importantly, Warner Brothers. Now, to put it lightly, if those who have if this is your first video, hi, it's a Rantings and Ravings, so we're going to be talking a bunch of nonsense is the best way to put it. But more importantly, those who don't know, yeah, DCEU in my head has had two, maybe three good movies.
And then Wonder Woman, Shazam, and Aquaman.
Yeah, three good movies. And a lot of mediocre to bad movies.
Two stinking pile of shit.
Yeah, and two of them have been directed by a director we're going to have to talk about here in a bit. but we are actually big comic book movie fans. Like, of course, we gush about the Marvel films for the most part, though we still give them their fair criticisms when they deserve it. Like Black Panther, it was a good, not fantastic film. I still don't get why it was nominated for Best Picture. But, that's our own personal opinion. So we're here to talk about some of the big news. And we're going to talk about it from pretty much the biggest or the smallest of the big news to the biggest part of the big news. And we're going to start off, of course, talking about the Black Adam teaser.
Not even really a teaser trailer, just kind of, oh, here, this is a thing that exists. This is a thing that's coming out eventually.
Yeah, I get the idea. It was to let everybody know, because this has been teased for, like 5 or 6 years at this point, it feels like. It's been for a while. We've heard about The Rock was working with Warner Brothers to do a Black Adam film, which I'm pumped for, because The Rock, I think he can be a very charismatic actor, and I like to see him actually be a true, outright bad guy. He can, if anybody who's ever a wrestling fan watched any of Rock's heel promos, he was a very effective bad guy. And he was a great heel. I do want to know how they can translate that energy into his performance as Black Adam. Especially considering that Black Adam, sure, nowadays they try to make him almost more anti-hero, less as a villain, but he is a bad guy. He commits mass genocide simply because people displease him. And the teaser just pretty much is a breakdown on how Black Adam came to be.
I once was enslaved, and then I got powers and defeated my oppressors, and now no one can stop me. It's like, okay, I didn't really need the background lesson here.
Yeah, they technically kind of gave most of that in Shazam. If you've watched the film Shazam.
Yeah, it's like, y'all can give me the background when we actually go see the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't need the origins of this character.
Yeah, and it's not even like shows like behind the scenes, like some of the early stuff they were doing or anything like that. It's like a what do they call it? It's like a motion comic is the best way to put it, and
Yeah.
it's not all that interesting. I get it. They wanted everybody to know that there is a Black Adam, film still coming about.
Yeah, it's not really getting us hyped up for it though. It's a thing that exists.
Yeah,
It's just there.
I wouldn't even call it an amuse bouche. It's sort of like you're sitting in a restaurant and somebody walks by and just kind of wafts some smell at you. Like, okay, well, I couldn't even see or even get a slight taste of that. I can just kind of smell it. So it's like, okay, I guess I smell what The Rock is cooking. This is the pun you're gonna have to put up with for the rest of your life. But yeah, it's not that there was nothing egregiously bad about it. It was fine, but it was wholly unnecessary. It's the biggest problem, I think.
Yeah, it's like, just wait until you have an actual trailer to show us.
Exactly. Or give us something like show The Rock in the costume. Pretty much it's all like concept art is what it looks like right now. And it's like, it's not a film yet. And that's the thing. It's like, if this was like kind of like talking about beginnings of a game, like think of it this way. If this was talking about a game, it wouldn't be very good. It would be such a letdown. It's like, oh, this is the big thing you're building up to. That you have to devote some kind of time towards is to tease that there's going to be a game starring Black Adam or if there's a movie on it. Meh. That's the best way I can put it. Now, we're not going to actually rate any of this, but we are going... I think we would be remiss if we don't give at least like a tier on the hype meter. And I give this a solid on the hype for me. It's a thing that exists.
Yeah, I'm kind of it's like kind of meh about it. It's like it's like I'll wait until an actual trailer comes out. It's like then I'll see. It's like, okay, it looks good, or oh, it looks terrible.
Mm-hmm.
It's like to really make up my mind one way or another. It's like, oh, it's like we'll just have to wait.
Yep.
Really.
So now we have to move into the movie that we know was supposed to have come out this month. I think it's now been pushed to like November or something like that, or it might be. I think it's now September film. I can't remember. And that, of course, is Wonder Woman, 1984.
What did you do?
I'm not. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I am losing more and more interest in this film the more I see of it. Alright, so good and bad out of the way. First off, Gal Gadot or Gadot, however you pronounce the name, I think it's Gadot. I think the T is silent.
That's what I think, but I've heard other people pronounce it differently. Like,
Yeah.
I know it's not Gadot.
Yeah, it's not Gadot. It's like Godiva. Godiva, all the chocolates around.
There we go. We'll just call her Gal Godiva.
But yeah, her acting has improved, but considering how wooden she was in the first few movies, it's not a massive statement. But, there's, that's...
But she does a decent job of being badass.
Yeah. The rest of the movie looks like utter garbage, though. That's the problem. The plot line, you know exactly how it's going to end. The problem is because this is in the past of what we have currently seen. It's the same issue with doing movies like this. Like, you constantly have to have something in the past if you're going to revolve around a pivotal character like this.
Yeah, I think they're trying to kind of emulate Captain Marvel, kind of go back to an earlier time period to tell the story. It's like, well, it worked for Captain Marvel because it introduced this whole other character to us and kind of said, like, okay, this is how she was introduced to Fury and how she kind of inspired Fury to start up the Avengers Initiative.
Yeah. And also it's how Fury lost his eye, which I know some people are really angry about. Like, it makes me laugh the more I think about it. I can't help it.
I was like, oh yeah, totally his big scary monster stole my eye.
Technically not wrong.
But yeah, trying to be all like, macho about it. And like, Oh yeah, totally wasn't a cat that scratched my eye out.
Yeah. The issue I keep having with it is the fact we know Steve Trevor's not going to make it. He's gone at the end of the movie.
Yeah, just
In fact, the trailer kind of gives away that it is pretty much a wish that this guy who is straight up, he's Maxwell Lord, because we're giving Maxwell Lord new powers. Because also Maxwell Lord suddenly become a supervillain for Wonder Woman. Never mind the fact she has her own rogues gallery, but not getting into that.
well, it's like Batman has a rogues gallery beyond Joker, but
Yeah. But here, they did finally give us, at least they give us two villains here. One of one is Kristen Wiig's Cheetah.
how the fuck does she have a career?
Yeah, so Kristen Wiig sounds about as bored as she always does when she's in a movie that's not a comedy. Because when she's in a comedy, she wants to do goofy faces and tries to sound like she's in a wacky 1940s film. Yucky, yucky, yuck.
Well, even when she's in a comedy, like, not
way.
dub. Like, she was still kind of monotone.
Yeah, everything, like when she is in a drama or anything that does not require her to try and be funny, she is just as dry as a piece of bread sitting in the middle of the desert.
Yeah, it's like, she's not that funny. She's like, she's not that great an actress. Like, why do you have a career?
Like I said, she gets a mean head, I guess.
I guess so. I just really know how to work that dick.
Yeah.
Work that Hollywood dick.
Hey, maybe she even knows how to
I
work
was
the
say
clit
maybe,
a little bit,
I was
too.
like maybe some of that Hollywood pussy too.
Mm-hmm. She's like, I can spin the best clits of the 80s.
Dane Cook reference.
Gotta throw out some random references here and there. Can't help but Dane Cook did have some funny jokes. Not a ton, but some. But yeah, first off, whenever they did kind of spoil the fact that she's going to be fighting Cheetah at the end in her stupid
Transformation.
gold armor thing that Wonder Woman has for reasons. It's so dumb. Like, it obviously is something that looks like it's meant to sell toys. It reminds me of the...
And also, why didn't she have that in, like, Justice League and Batman vs Superman?
I don't know. It's such a stupid idea. And that is the issue. It's like, so Wonder Woman's not going to bring up the fact that, oh, she lost the man she loved, for so many years ago. And it's like, okay, she's not talking about 1984? Because at that point, in terms of Justice League canon, and it's came out, 2018? Let's assume it comes out, and that's when that happens.
Yeah.
So that means she's making a big deal about a guy she lost less than 30 years ago. And
That she originally lost long before that.
yeah, which that's the thing. It's like you're digging up plot holes within your own film. And I get it. They're gonna undo all of it with Flashpoint. I understand it. Doesn't make it any less egregious and more stupid.
Yeah, this movie would almost make a bit more sense coming out after Flashpoint.
Yeah.
It's like, just wait till Flashpoint.
Yeah, or
Just redo the whole goddamn thing, and then y'all can start from scratch.
yeah, it's kind of what they need to do with DCU.
Yes.
But yeah, so this movie kind of just... I'm getting less interested about it. I get exactly what's going to happen in the film. The CGI, for the most part, looks god-awful again. It's weird that they made Cheetah look exactly like the fucking people from Cats. And I don't understand why. This is the aesthetic we want to go with.
And her motivations is just really dumb.
She wants to be an apex predator. Ah.
Yeah, her telling Wonder Woman, it's like, oh, people like you have everything, and people like me have nothing. It's like,
It's like,
the fuck?
cry me a river. Such a whiny bitch, the entire trailer. Maybe they'll do better, but God, it might not. I don't care about this villain. This is such a one-note villain. You have seen this.
Jealousy is not a good color on anyone.
Mm-hmm. You've seen this type of villain in many, many other mediums before.
Some done better, some done worse.
Mm-hmm.
Some done just as shitty as this looks.
Yeah. And not only that, but I'm guessing she's having like levels of power up because at one point when she deal or comes to first fight Wonder Woman, she's not in her cat form, but she's wearing this ultra rad '80s look because that says to me, villainess. I,
Maybe taking inspiration from Cruella de Vil? 80s Cruella de Vil?
all I know is it just looks like garbage. And that's the problem. This movie looks like the same putrid mess that they would shove out there whenever DCU was first trying to get its feet down. It, this doesn't feel like a follow-up to Wonder Woman. This feels like, oh, well, it's popular, so shove out movie. Don't worry about plot. Don't worry about anything. Just shove out something that looks cool. I could be totally wrong. I am free to accept the fact that I might be woefully wrong, but trailers look bad. I hope it's not as bad as the trailers are, or else we're gonna have a contender with Murder Man versus Captain Hypocrite for worst comic book movie. I didn't think I needed to utter those fucking words. Oh, but that's personally me. You're kind of feeling similar boat.
I'm kind of meh about a Wonder Woman 1984. Yes, Kristen Wiig and her character and her motivations and her look and everything is just. I was like, I hate everything about you. It's like just like digitally take you out of the film.
Megan is very 3 Days Grace about her.
Yes, very much so. Some of the stuff with Wonder Woman, like her riding the goddamn lightning. Phew, it was like.
That's so goddamn ridiculously stupid. It almost gets the level of, alright, that's kind of so stupid, it's fun. It's still monumentally stupid.
Yeah. It's like, that looks dumb. I would say about her gold armor, though, I was like, okay, I didn't mind it as much, although, like I was kind of pointing out, it's like, why didn't she have it when, they're fighting, Doomsday?
Yeah, or whenever they're fighting Steppenwolf.
Yeah, or something. It's like any of the movies that take place at a later time period than this.
Yeah. And, yeah, still, to talk about, like I said, Steve Trevor, I like Chris Pine a lot. I really enjoyed his Steve Trevor, but...
It's like, I'm kind of curious about seeing him in a kind of fish out of water type of setting.
Mm-hmm. But we know he's going to be dead at the end of the movie. Or he's going to, like, have to go back to the ether thing or whatever. It's just, ultimately, it's not going to add to anything. It's just be like, alright, well, here's what happened to Wonder Woman in the 80s. Hi, why do I care?
Well, it also has that 80s nostalgia, which... it's like, I'm here for it.
Porks. But yeah, I'm really on Wonder Woman. Like less than I was on Black Adam, but it's just because of what I saw from Black Adam. All right, cool. You gave me nothing.
Yeah.
I just know the Rock's in it. This, I just am giving less and less shits about it. I was originally like, no.
Yeah, I'm kind of like on a scale of like 1 to 5, I'm a 3, or 1 to 10, I'm a 5. Like I'm kind of curious, but at the same time, I was like, I just kind of please don't be as dumb as you're kind of looking now.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. The movie's getting to where it looks a lot stupid. So we then need to talk about the other movie we technically didn't really get a trailer for. Because we'll leave the two trailers that the two real trailers that we got for the end. But we need to talk about the film that's got 428,000 cast members. And that, of course, is the not greatly titled The Suicide Squad.
find a better title, especially since Suicide Squad came out just a few years ago.
Yeah.
It's like, and I was like, is this a reboot or is this a sequel?
This is a sequel.
Yeah, it's got Harley Quinn, got Margot Robbie.
It's got Amanda Waller, played by Viola Davis.
Jai Courtney as Captain Boomerang.
To be fair, it's the only time I've ever actually gave a shit about Jai Courtney's performance. One time I was like, alright, Jai Courtney ain't too terrible in this. I like his over-the-top, goofy Australian and outback Foster's vagina, you know? Oh shit, you know, that he's done here with Captain Boomerang. It's stupid. It's absolutely ignorant.
Well, he's absolutely an Emmy winner compared to, was it Cara Delevingne?
Oh, God. Yeah, don't remind me of the sorceress. I do a hula hoop dance.
All twitchy. Like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, I was like, Jesus, I don't know what the hell that was. Of course, I like David Ayer's been talking a lot. He's like, well, you know, my movie would have been so great if they stuck to my thing. Yeah, so that's the reason why they told you had to rewrite the script, because nobody liked it, and whenever you originally test shot it, nobody fucking liked that either. I'm not saying test audiences are always the best, the be-all, end-all. But when consistently test audiences, many different kinds, are saying your movie does not look good, there's a problem there. So, sorry, David. I don't care how great you thought your your movie was. It was kind of fucking terrible. It's not Murder Man versus Captain Hypocrite levels of terrible, but that's a whole new bar of shit that we got in 2016. Yeah. But here, God damn it, am I actually really interested in this? I'm really curious of what they're gonna do.
Yeah, James Gunn at the helm and like 4 billion like famous actors. Like, oh my god, I actually know who most of these people are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got.
Like, I'm curious.
And I also like the fact that there are a number of, or actually, pretty much most of these are B-list characters. Like, realistically, out of Harley Quinn, who else does anybody know? Like, do y'all know about Bloodsport? Or about the Savants? Or, let's see, what else was there? Butcherhead, I think? The Polka Dot Man? Javelin? I know Mongal, but that's just because I know Mongol. And I was like, oh yeah, Mongal was like his female version. It's one of these films where I like the fact that they have thrown in so many characters. Now, mind you, this means that we're going to see a number of them get killed pretty quickly off. But it feels like, I think, with how the original like teaser, this one that they've shown with all the different characters and kind of showing their names and all that.
The character reveal trailer.
Yeah, that actually, I was like, okay, so it makes me seem like these characters are going to have a lot more to do than just be like Slipknot, who literally shows up, they give his back, or what he does, because the movie Suicide Squad couldn't just fucking shot for 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
But then he gets his head blown up. That was it. So that's the reason why, like I said, Suicide Squad, have a terrible movie. But here also, all these characters are the one thing that the DCEU has not been able to really figure out. Except for with the exception of Aquaman, Shazam, and to a lesser extent, Wonder Woman. Color. Yes. Like, think of Aquaman, you think of, you know, not just water, but different colors constantly. All this, like, you see Mara's bright red hair and Amber Heard stepping on Johnny Depp's nuts and beating him like a dog who's shit on the carpet.
I was like, you know, she's probably getting replaced. After all these allegations.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, I was like, she didn't do a bad job. At the same time, I was like, I kind of can't support her because...
She took a shit in her bed. Yeah, she took a shit. A literal shit. In their bed. And told... And did it while Johnny Depp was sleeping in. Supposedly. I don't know why.
Where the fuck do people come up with this stuff?
Oh, Johnny Depp said that's what she did. Yeah. Also, why was that your first thought? It's like, to get back at this guy I'm angry at because I'm an abusive woman and I'm going to poop on him.
Well, she's clearly very unhinged.
Clearly. Well, she's a redhead. What do you expect? Yeah, but redheads are nuts. I've dated like 3. It's enough to tell me that they're all fucking crazy.
Where's like Aquaman? Redheads. Gotta love them.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so to talk about Suicide Squads today, Amber Heard being a horrible human being. Yeah, it looks like it's actually trying to have fun. It looks like, yes, it understands that these characters are going to die, but it's going to try and at least let you be able to care about the characters a little bit, or at least have a few laughs with them. With Slipknot, I couldn't tell you anything beyond him except for, it's that one dude from Code Talkers. Or not Code Talkers. What the fuck was it called? Fuck. Might be Code Talkers. I can't remember.
Well, I know he was on SVU for about a season.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I couldn't tell you anything about all the characters. Not only that, but with this Suicide Squad, it's like, oh, cool. They all have like kind of like outfits in a way. That's kind of neat. And they're not all super similar. Some were kind of bright. Some were kind of flashy.
And from that one kind of behind the scenes thing that we saw, yeah, John Cena just being a doofy.
Yeah, being John Cena. And it's like, alright, cool. I like John Cena being John Cena.
Not that we're going to be able to see him in the movie.
Yeah, I will say, they kept saying he was in there. I heard him talking. Couldn't see the motherfucker the whole time. Don't know what was happening. Yeah.
Quit making me laugh. It hurts my injured body.
You.
I didn't decide to do anything. I just fell out of bed, okay?
Well, now it's out there for everybody to know that you rolled yourself out of bed.
Yeah, I went to roll over, just roll right out of bed, like, okay.
Yeah, the worst thing is, like, I was dead asleep. And fuck.
Yeah, like 12 something in the morning.
12:47. I remember that exactly. Because I grabbed my phone and was like, what the fuck's that?
He just ran over, baby, you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Surprisingly hurt a lot less than I thought it would.
Quit doing gymnastics.
I wasn't trying to.
Just
like I wasn't trying to scrape a box down like a bruise here. That y'all really can't see. But.
People are gonna think I beat the shit out of you or something. She hits people.
Yeah, people were like, where was Charlie in this? Why didn't he help you? He was at work.
Yeah, I work for a living. I can't help it. I do that.
Like, what am I? A stay-at-home wife?
No, you work for a living too. Just you get there earlier than me.
I have to get off sooner than you.
Mm-hmm. Of course, you also got to work earlier than me too.
Mm-hmm. And I gotta go work for 5 days, and you can just do it for 4.
Yeah, sure.
Including on Saturday.
Eat my butthole.
Great thing working for the county. You're never gonna work on Saturday.
Yeah, so to talk about Suicide Squad,
Sorry, you kind of ramble on and on.
I don't know. I am curious enough about this. I'm like, alright, I will give this I'm going to probably watch this. I still want to see a trailer just so I can get a general idea of what's happening. It seems like the beginning there's going to be almost like D-Day type sequence, probably where a lot of the characters are going to die. Where we're going to have like our core, like 6 or so, they're going to be our main ones. But I like that realistically, instead of here where in the first movie you had 2 real main villains that were our leads, which was, of course, Harley Quinn and Deadshot, and also, in a way, Joker, for some reason, who wasn't even part of the squad.
Yeah, because so much of his shit got cut, including the stuff that was in the trailers.
Which is fine by me.
Yeah, but they made such a big deal about him in the trailers, like he's going to be the main villain of all this. It's like, no.
Which, honestly, they probably should have. Would have made for at least it would have made for a villain who didn't seem to completely outclass them. Like, sorry, the Sorceress just completely outclasses...
Enchantress?
Enchantress. To kind of outclass everybody there.
Except for those dance moves.
Oh, yeah. That's like she got the best dance. She got the voice dance moves.
It's like, what are you trying to reenact the Thriller video?
Just a Dylan. Yeah.
Oh, we're dorks.
Yep. Yeah, I'm curious about it. I want to watch this now. I was already semi-curious because James Gunn. I'm like, alright, I like good chunkier movies. And then watch this and I'm like, alright, James Gunn, you have my attention. What about you, sweet?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious about this. Especially after seeing that behind-the-scenes stuff where it's like, okay, it seems to be more lighthearted, but still kind of like maybe action-packed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the best thing that the DCEU has really been lacking. Is they've been lacking this, colorful characters, some lightheartedness. Because just because they're villains doesn't mean that they need to be absolutely, like these dour, sourpuss characters.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, I know some people could technically say that the Harley Quinn movie, has nothing to do with Birds of Prey. That film really tried to be funny, but obviously it was trying to emulate Deadpool in just the worst ways, and it's like, that's just not Harley Quinn. It's like Harley's a lot more of a unique character of her own. It's like she is not just a Deadpool character. In fact, she doesn't even have Deadpool's powers. So why were y'all trying to emulate that?
And also kind of pulling some of their punches with some of the violence. Mm-hmm. Like her going through the police station with the beanbag gun.
Yeah.
So like an actual gun or something. Like.
Yeah, because it's like, okay, this is a lady who's obviously a villain, so why wouldn't she just kill the cops? She didn't care.
Or at least, wound them enough they'll back the fuck off.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I know it's gonna make her less likable, but.
Yeah, it's like one of those like.
It's like, it seems really silly. It's like, okay, why would she do this? It's like, why would she pull her punches like that? That makes no sense character-wise. I mean, movie-wise, yeah, it does. There is a point to it, but it's like, within the context of the character, it's so silly.
In a bad way.
Yeah, it seems like something Joker would do, like, oh, here, I'm gonna kill you. Nah, psych. Like, just, like, fucking with people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the thing. Harley's not quite Joker levels of liking to fuck with people. She tends to be the one a little bit more...
I mean, like, she'll kind of egg him on.
Mm-hmm.
But she's been more straightforward. I think she's been more into, like, the torture.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, here, let me, like, play with our food before we kill it.
Mm-hmm.
Like a little cat.
Yeah.
Play with the mouse before we kill it and leave it on someone's bed to...
Fine. Yeah. Like I said, I'm curious about Suicide Squad. I want to watch what it's going to do. And it cannot be as bad as Harley Quinn. Or the original Suicide Squad movie.
That did not exist in my mind. But since I keep forgetting about it, because I think, DCEU, I think, Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, Justice League, then Shazam, Wonder Woman, and Aquaman. And my brain just totally skips over Suicide Squad. It's like...
Well, it doesn't help. It fits into that about as well as a 10-inch cock fits inside of a baby's head.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't fit. That's the best simile or analogy I can come up with. It was a shitty one, I'll fully admit, but
Do I need to worry about you?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Depends on how much my brain melts. But yeah, I want to watch this. I want to see what's going to happen. Give it that much. I'm like, let's watch this. Let's see what we get. Well, that's the first trailers are crap, which I might rant about as well.
Mm-hmm.
How about you?
Yeah, my interest is piqued.
So now, we must talk about the giant bat in the room. The one that might be the thing that either be the best thing or the worst thing in a while. Of course, that is the Batman.
Whoa! This guy's crazy!
Starring, of course, Robert Pattinson as
I
Batman.
gotta say, the sparkly vampire himself.
Yeah, and I'll fully admit, like, I know some people are like, oh, he can act. It's like, it's not the problem of his acting. The problem is his frame. That is always what I had my biggest issue with. Because Robert Pattinson's never been a bigger guy. Sure.
Knock him over with a stiff breeze.
Sure, Christian Bale, I know, has done stuff like The Mechanic and The Fighter, where he was, you know, a little skinny guy, you could see his ribs.
Yeah.
You know, and he purposely would do stuff like that. But he...
Yeah, he's kind of gone up and down for roles just with no regard for
his safety.
I was about to say, the health of his body.
Yeah. But that's the thing, it's like Christian Bale willingly, you know, bulked up quite a bit.
He pushes himself
Yeah.
and his body to whatever limit he needs to go to.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, you know, Christian Bale, he can do it. And I was like, okay, cool, we're having a Brit. And then it's like, okay, we're getting our Brit to be Batman. Okay. And, well, I know some people say, well, Christian Bale's technically Welsh. Like, yeah, fuck it. Brit's a Brit.
I was like, Wales is part of the United Kingdom. So.
Yeah, so 6 and 1 half dozen here to me.
Mm-hmm.
Here, like I said, the issue I've always had, like I said, Robert Pattinson never came off like physically intimidative. I will say with the trailer, we can see he is a little bit bigger than I was thinking. He still doesn't quite have the physical intimidation. And also, I will say, it's like, I hope they do something with his voice. He's not going to do the Christian Bale rally thing they go to. Wait, that way, Dad.
Who are you? I'm vengeance.
Yeah, it's like, I almost want just a little bit more of a, you know, deeper voice. Don't do the arrow thing where it's a digital effect you're putting onto his voice, because it sounded always like garbage.
He does that himself, or he did that.
You can tell it was also digitally changed to lower the octaves more. Because trust me, in the meantime, it's like somebody who has an ear for that shit, and like, that's a digital
Says the guy who's half deaf.
Just because I'm deaf doesn't mean I can't hear how they're changing things. Especially considering both times I watched it, I used headphones. So I could actually be able to hear the effect that was going on. But either way, don't do that. Don't do the digital effect. Just, you know, it's like, hey, you know, let's try and have a little bit of a deeper tone to it. Now, that aside, I will say maybe, you know, he can look the part of the Playboy as Bruce Wayne. It's like, I'm not sure. They didn't show a lot of Bruce Wayne.
And when they did show, he looked kind of emo. I mean, yeah, Batman, he is kind of emo, but he doesn't look it.
It doesn't help.
He's not supposed to look it.
That one of the shots in the trailer is him after taking off the mask, and obviously they, you know, still do put the black around his eyes, and instead of them cleaning that off for that shot, they left it on. Like
with Michael Keaton and, was it Batman or Batman Returns?
Batman Returns, they removed it before he took the mask off, and you could tell the difference from shot to shot. It's one of the sillier moments in the entire movie.
I was like, where'd it go?
Yeah. I'd say silly in a movie that has the penguin riding a giant duck. But yeah, so like that scene, it's goofy is the best way I can put it. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he can pull off the Playboy Batman, so that would be one thing. But that's the thing, he's got to figure out the perfect balance between Bruce Wayne and actual Batman. I will say this much though, for the fights that we're seeing in some of it, and some of the action, and the fact it seems to be a mystery, I'm intrigued. I'm actually like, alright, you have my attention. Don't say you have my blessing, but you have my attention, movie. Also, I have to give the movie this much. Those of us who do know about Batman and also know about his rogues gallery, there does seem to be two villains. One for sure, and that is, of course, the Riddler.
Mm-hmm.
The Riddler is pretty much seems to be the main villain. Even though I've always advocated him for me more being a Green Arrow villain than being a Batman villain, I'm willing to at least experiment with a villain who we've only seen technically once. And even then, that wasn't really the Riddler. That was Jim Carrey as Jim Carrey.
Just in a green outfit.
Yeah.
The man loves to wear green.
And making faces. But...
I was like, liar, liar. Making funny faces. It's like, some people make a good living that way.
It's like, Aaron. But yeah, here we get to see a Riddler who seems to be, obviously a psychopath, but is a murderer. He is somebody who likes to kill just because he can.
Just for funsies.
It's like, okay, I'm intrigued here. I am interested. The one I'm not so interested in or so intrigued by is Red Hood appearing. Because there is a guy, obviously, who is wearing a helmet that is red, and it has, like, eye slits similar to Red Hood. I might be completely mistaken. I am willing to admit that I could be. I've only watched the trailer a couple times. Why are we going with Jason Todd already being dead and then coming back? This is really going to lose a lot of its luster if this is what you're going to try and do. And not only that, but Red Hood isn't your first movie kind of villain. He's your third movie kind of villain. Ugh. That's a minor issue I have, especially since Red Hood more works better as a foil to Batman than anything, and this is a new Batman, obviously, especially with Robert Pattinson, who still looks very baby-faced. He's still very young looking, which I'm fine. I don't mind a Batman who looks a little young. Sure, he doesn't look like a Michael Keaton, kind of older Batman, or Ben Affleck's grizzled war veteran Batman.
Yeah, I've been doing this shit too long. It's like, I'm too old for this shit. Kind of like, it's like, I didn't mind, Ben Affleck's grizzled old Batman. I was like,
The script was terrible, but,
Yeah, I still say he would have made a much better Superman. But he did a fine job with it. It's just the material he was given. It's like, oh, you poor guy. He's like, you and Jeremy Irons just, this movie does not deserve you.
Serves Henry Cavill, though. Sorry, Henry Cavill, you're a bad actor. I've almost watched the entirety of Witcher, and I can sum up this in one thought. Henry Cavill's not that great of an actor, y'all. Kinda piss poor. Sorry. Love to play games with you, dude. Can't watch you act, though, anymore. Personal feelings. So,
I was thinking, it's like, you just like the child of surprise scene. Like, I'm claiming law of surprise, but I won't be coming back. So it doesn't go fuck itself.
doesn't go
Blech.
fuck. So, yeah.
Everyone else, he's got great comedic timing.
Well, that's also script timing as well.
Well, and also delivery helps.
Yeah,
I'm not sticking up for him as, like, Emmy-winning, worthy, whatever. But it's like, I think he's better than you're giving credit. Shitty Superman, yes, but that's the material he was given.
He's better than Kristen Wiig. I'll give him that much easily.
Yeah.
But to be fair, my feet are better actors than Kristen Wiig.
My tits are better actresses than Kristen Wiig.
And a lot less full of themselves, too. Hey, so you should say my tits are small?
They're not gonna say nothing to that.
Yeah, damn it, I'm actually interested in this Batman movie. I don't think it looks like a masterpiece. I'm not sure if it's gonna hold a candle to, the Christopher Nolan 2 Batman movies, because we only made 2. Damn, we never got that third one. It's so sad.
It's like, I'm with him.
But
yeah, we really need a third one to round out. We need to make a trilogy.
yeah, and I will also say I don't know where the fuck this fits in the entire DCU timeline.
Only thing I think is that he's supposed to be a younger Ben Affleck.
Or it's supposed to be before, or it's supposed to be after Flashpoint. It's the only thing I could figure.
Or maybe kind of... Maybe before Flashpoint, and it's just kind of a Batman from an alternate Earth?
Yeah, and this is gonna soon be the new Batman.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's one of the
Yeah.
issues with the DCEU.
It's such a fucking mess. You got shit all around. Like, you got this stuff over here, this stuff. It's like, pick up your goddamn toys, kids.
Yeah. So now we need to get to the giant other edgelord.
Oh,
that's...
and I would say, as far as Batman,
Thank you for cutting me off.
I would say, like, you're looking forward to it. It's like, well, I would say I'm not. I'm still like, maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised, but I'm still like, I still don't hold that hope.
It is not. It cannot be as bad as what we're seeing so far from Wonder Woman 1984. That movie's looking really rough.
I'd rather see No Wonder Woman 1984 than see the Batman.
It's looking Goldie Hawn levels of rough. Sorry, Goldie. Loved you.
Age hit you like a ton of bricks.
Age hit her like Amber Heard hit Johnny Depp. Zing! Sorry, Johnny. I hope you get help and get away from that relationship finally. Mm-hmm. And Amber Heard, yeah, fuck off. So, let's talk about the giant edgelord in the room. Alright, so Snyder Cut. Y'all... I want to hear the absolute opinion that I have on the Snyder Cut trailer because they finally showed it. I don't fucking care. Justice League, the original film, was not a good movie. It wasn't Superman Batman levels of utter...
I mean, even with Joss Whedon kind of tweaking it a bit, it was, I mean, but it's still a steaming pile of shit.
Yeah. It's not Superman... Like I said, it's not Superman Batman levels of terrible. Or Batman vs Superman. I don't fucking care.
Murder Man vs. Captain Hypocrite.
Exactly. But it is still a movie that has a lot of problems. And no, adding 2 hours to it is not magically going to make it better. Instead, what it's going to make me do, I fucking really want to look forward to watching the piece of shit. I know people are like, well, it's supposed to be 2 movies. Okay, so if in your 2 movies you cannot actually tell a cohesive fucking story, or if in your 1 movie you cannot tell a cohesive story, even if it's going to be pretty much a to be continued, you have some problems. Especially if you're having to introduce no less than actually 3 fucking characters and give them some sort of a backstory. The fuck are you doing wrong here?
And it's like, maybe introduce these characters, like, either kind of in other movies, like, not Scarlet Witch, Black Widow, and Hawkman. Hawkeye.
Yeah, let's say.
I was going to say, not Hawkman. Oh, just... But... You're introduce them in someone else's movies, kind of, let's get to know them through someone else's movies, like, again, with Black Widow and Hawkeye, or give them their own goddamn movie, especially with, like, say, Cyborg, who, like, unless you read comic books, or watch Smallville, or watch Teen Titans, you don't know who the fuck this is.
I'd say a lot less with Smallville, because Smallville kind of went up to every character and shit on their heads.
Well, I'm saying I only know who Cyborg... Yeah, I only know who he is thanks to Smallville.
Yeah.
Being played by the late Lee Thompson Young.
And I will still throw out there that the CGI on Cyborg still looks like trash. Steppenwolf, they technically kind of fixed him. Still looks like trash. Darkseid.
I was like, still gonna be a big old pussy.
Yeah, Darkseid looks like fucking trash. I don't know what y'all think this is magically gonna do. The movie still has a horrendously bad CGI. Like, you can throw billions of dollars at it, it's still gonna look terrible. This was always a film that was never very well put together. And on top of everything, the problem is not that Justice League was ever incomprehensible, like, oh, whole plot points are missing. The problem was maybe the movie could have sat down for a little bit longer, give some more character bits here or there. Maybe make us give a shit about these characters. But if you need 2 hours to do all that, then you are wasting my goddamn time. Like, I don't need... Like, if Titanic was fucking 4-5 hours, I don't need to watch a goddamn ship sink that long. I don't care.
You can go back in time and watch the ship sink probably in that same amount of time.
Mm-hmm, if not quicker. I don't need to sit there and watch characters ultimately not do much, especially since, let's just admit it, Zack Snyder does not give characters or actors a lot of range to be able to work with. Because what is his thing? Brood! Brood!
And slow motion. Like, he tries so hard to make, like, comic books, like, more cerebral. It's like, you barking up the wrong goddamn tree, dude.
He thinks he's smart. That's the problem. I'm sorry, Zack Snyder. You're a moron. You have made one good comic book movie, and I think you probably thought you were making... No, it's an over-the-top, goofy-ass movie about the Battle of Thermopylae. It was so overly exaggerated because it does follow the comic book to a good extent, which I give you kudos there. But it was always going to be silly. There was no way you were going to make that, like, deep and introspective and about the love that soldiers can carry for one another and the loved ones at home. No, nobody gives a shit about that. Only people they cared about is the fact that Leonidas kicked a dude and yelled, "This is Sparta," and you got to see, what's her face? I can't remember her name. Cersei, you got to see her tits.
Lena Headey or
Yeah. And you also got to see, some pretty good action. Other than that, nobody looked into it as like, oh, this is like something that's much more. Yeah. Like, there's a reason why Sucker Punch is seen as just an absolute travesty of a film that doesn't understand what it wants to fucking do. It's like 3 stories that are wrapped up together that make no fucking sense and don't have good cohesion. That is actually the problem that Zack Snyder's films have. Their cohesion is always all over the place. There's 28,000 plot threads. Some of them don't really get wound up really nicely. Not saying everything needs to be put up in a bow and ends up hunky-dory, but they do need to be fucking finished. And that's the fucking problem with Zack Snyder.
Otherwise, like, it's like, oh, well, I have cancer from The Room.
Yeah.
It's like, why bring it up if you're not going to do anything with it?
Yeah, it's just something that exists for the fucking reason of existing. You're not adding something to the movie. You're not giving a character an actual motivation. All you're doing is you're wasting my time with more nonsense. And that's all I got from the Snyder Cut trailer. Is nonsense, nonsense, nonsense. Do you give shit about the nonsense? Like the fact that we get to see Ezra Miller before he puts on the Flash costume, before he comes across Ben Affleck as Batman, he saves the girl. It's like, I didn't mind how he met him in the original Justice League movie.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, this is what Batman would be able to do. He would know who the Flash is. He would be able to figure it out by, oh, okay, so, I got this random fucking encrypted file. Oh, I guess if you want to consider that's the way we got to introduce these characters. Never mind, I don't even think they mentioned Victor Stone's fucking name in those.
Yeah, I was like, again, unless you know who he is from other media, it's like, you're gonna be fucking lost.
Yeah, now I think about it, the father called himself Elijah Stone. That's all we got.
Yeah, it's like, only if you know that... Because, I mean, even the symbols, like, unless you're familiar with the symbol, like, you don't know. It's like, I had to guess. I was like, oh, yeah, I think I remember, like, Cyborg being here. It's like, that's Elijah Stone, so I'm guessing that's his son, Victor. It's like, okay.
Yeah, and
it was a bit of guesswork for me. I'm somewhat familiar.
Yeah. The only thing I can guess is one of the big plot threads that they're changing is the fact that Darkseid is technically in the movie, but what Steppenwolf's doing is trying to free Darkseid, who's somehow stuck in Earth or something like that. And that's how the big fight's going to be at the end, because they'll end up doing that. But here's like...
Pretty much they just spliced in some deleted scenes and polished up the CGI just a bit. It still looks like shit.
Yeah.
But it's mostly just Zack Snyder's
Yeah, and
all over the goddamn movie.
Oh, we actually do get an actual sort of backstory of Victor Stone, but I don't care. I really don't give a shit. I would rather see an actual film about him if you want to go into his backstory. And not only that, but here's the other thing it's not going to help. His fucking wooden acting. He was still a bad actor in that movie. I can't remember the guy's name, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But everything he said was like this. Like he was trying to figure out if there was a fly in his house or if it was just a fart he was hearing whistling. Maybe it was both.
Yeah, I think he's trying to come off like so dejected, like it's like he's just given up on life and it's like whatever, I don't care if I live or die. I think that's what he was going for because he's like lost everything.
Yeah, but instead he comes off like a...
He's so bored. It's like, what do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? I don't know. It's like...
Yeah, I just tell y'all, I know the Snyder fans are just shitting themselves in joy and thinking, yeah, this is just great movie ever. Yeah, there's just the happiest fuckheads ever.
Mm-hmm.
But dear God, I'm so happy you get to see your 4-hour bullshit film. But here's also the worst thing that this is actually going to show, or it's actually going to pretty much do for all of this. It's going to make people believe that if they scream hard enough, they will magically get their way. Especially considering, like, if...
Yeah, the very vocal minority
Mm-hmm.
that is running this goddamn country.
Yeah. And that's the problem. I think they're going to believe that this is actually going to be something that they... Oh, well, if we scream hard enough, they'll change this fact. They'll change this. It's like, no, some things don't need to be changed. Was the original Justice League good? No. It was a bad movie. Adding more to a bad movie is not going to magically make it better. Because you know what? If you end up burning your fucking chicken just because you decide to put some pasta on it, all that means you have pasta on top of burnt fucking chicken. You haven't magically made your meal better. You've instead sullied something else. And I know y'all really, really want a good DC film. I do too. I want fantastic DC films. This is why I'm at least cautiously optimistic about the Batman. It doesn't look Emmy Award-winning, or Academy Award-winning, but I don't need that right now. Like I've been saying with the past few DC films, I don't need great. I need good. That's all I want. I don't need 10s, 9s every time. I just want you to at least shoot for a fucking 7. Shoot for something that's like, that's good. There could be some improvement here, but there is some good there. I don't need a constant, this is a 3 at its best of times and a 1 the most of the time. And that's the issue.
It does not really help that they were so eager to jump the gun and be like Marvel and the Avengers and everything that they almost immediately went for the team up. And it's like, no, you have to introduce us to these characters. You have to, let's get to know these characters. Make us care about these characters the way that Marvel did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like, yeah, you don't have to give us a backstory on every goddamn character. Because, I mean, again, with Black Widow and Hawkeye, we were introduced to them in someone else's movie. And
they were at least still fleshed out a little bit in the Avenger films to a bit. There was some...
Yeah.
They were giving their moments to shine here and there. There was still some bits for them. throughout Justice League, instead, it had to focus on trying to give the best bits it could to Aquaman, to Cyborg, to the Flash.
Or spend the whole goddamn movie trying to introduce us to these characters. Like, well, we should already know who the hell they are.
Yeah, especially considering these are your core characters. These are your main people. The biggest difference between Avengers and Justice League. Avengers, there are obviously your heavy hitters and your main important characters. And you're kind of, in all best way to put it, supporting cast. You have your Black Widow, your Hawkeye, Nick Fury for a lesser extent. Those are your kind of, and also the villain technically as your supporting villain. Pardon. With Justice League, you have the same core number of core characters. So, but when you have 3 of them that we are just getting introduced to, you have way too much glut, and that's the problem that nobody wants to admit. The fact with Justice League, we have to be introduced to all these 3 characters, and just because you're going to sit there and we're going to spend 20-30 minutes talking about Aquaman, 20-30 minutes talking about Cyborg, 20-30 minutes talking about the Flash, like, I don't want that. I want them to have their own movie so they can shine.
Yeah, have their own movie first. So we can kind of learn these characters and kind of get to know them, care about them. And then with, Justice League movie, that's the time when you should be focusing on, bring them all together, trying to introduce them to each other and kind of get them to act like a team, like in the Avengers.
Exactly. And that's the problem. Like, instead, you now have to have a movie that, regardless of it going to be 4 hours long, which, again, I don't know why you need a movie 4 hours long.
Yeah.
It's too much. I'm going to tune out of the film. I'm not even saying this because I already seen Justice League. I have. But just, I am going to find myself really struggling to try and give enough shits. One, Superman, they knew beforehand that this was a divisive take to try and do. Zack Snyder was not well received when it came to Man of Steel, and worse even with Batman v Superman. They knew this was a problem. Warner Bros. Knew well ahead of time that this should have been an issue they should have nipped in the bud. Now, I'm saying Warner Brothers is the best. No, they proved already that Justice League was another shit show. But what they could have done if they were smart about this is, one, took the one movie that actually was their true starting point and used that to launch it. Regardless if it's bad, figure out a way to start building up from that. And that, of course, was Green Lantern. That was supposed to be where it was starting, y'all. I get why. They wanted to do the Marvel thing, pretty much. But in the same instance, like, alright, well, then y'all need to figure out something. It's like, okay, well, that didn't work quite so well. Let's figure out something that can work even better. And not make Superman a fucking murdering psycho.
Mm-hmm. And all the anti-Superman Snyder fanboys out there saying, oh, this is so much better because he's so much more interesting and realistic and gritty and more like Batman. It's like, fuck you. Y'all know what's wrong with these movies.
Yep.
This demands like, oh, Superman's so... It's like, I get it. Superman's not for everybody. But, trying to make him into something he's not is not going to work.
Yep. So, to end this all, I think it'd be best if we kind of give our opinions on, like, what the things we're the most excited about coming out of this and things we're the least excited about. So, I'm going to let you be it, and I will end us here. So, what were you the most excited about, and then now to the least excited about?
Most to least, I have to say, The Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman 1984, Black Adam. I really would switch Wonder Woman and Black Adam, but Black Adam not really giving us much to go on. It's like, you can't really get me hyped up for something. It's like you give me nothing to work with here.
Yeah, they called it a teaser. It's not even a teaser.
That's it. It's
Teaser, we would see The Rock in the Black Adam outfit.
Yeah, we would see like little glimpses, little snippets, not even really tell us anything about the goddamn movie, but just kind of like, oh, that's cool looking. Let's go see it.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing. These next two are really tough. Oh my god. I think it's kind of a tie between the Justice League Snyder cut. I mean, pretty much.
Zack Snyder like, here it stands, take it.
Yeah, and the Batman.
I will agree that Suicide Squad super hyped for it. I put the Batman as my next thing. I don't think it's going to be fantastic, but I just need good. That's all I keep saying. It looks decent. It can be possibly good as long as it keeps, gives me more for Robert Pattinson, more than him just being emo boy.
The sparkly vampire.
Yeah. I guess then Wonder Woman 1984 will be right there. I guess. I'm at least like, okay, well, Gal Gadot's
I think I know what your next one is.
Yeah. But in the same instance, I cannot fucking care about Kristen Wiig to save my life. And then, of course, there's the fact that the movie's just going to be undone by the end of it. Which kind of makes me feel like I'm a bit farted on in the face.
Everyone's like, you're just wasting my time.
Mm-hmm. Fourth, of course, Black Adam. Not really much of anything there. Just The Rock kind of giving us a short 2-minute thing.
Kind of just interested. It's like, yeah. Maybe.
I was interested beforehand. It's not peaked it any higher. But it's one of those, I'm like, why is this even a thing? Could just showed me The Rock in the outfit. Been cool. And then, of course, the Snyder Cut, I don't give enough fucks about. I don't care. I'm glad Snyder stans can be happy. They're going to love it no matter what. The movie could be an hour of Zack Snyder fucking a panda in the ass, and they're going to still love it. Be like, best awesome movie ever. That's the worst part. Is like Zack Snyder has fanboys that
flashbacks to the gentleman.
Yeah, it's bad that Zack Snyder has some fanboys who are very much like some Marvel fanboys, who are, like, he can do no wrong. He can do any stupid shit he throws up on the screen. It's the greatest thing ever. So great and fantastic. I am unapologetically a Marvel fan. I will admit when they fuck some things up. And I can even admit there's some Marvel films that I could even do without. Like, I unfortunately learned with Ant-Man and the Wasp, I'm like, it was a movie. I liked it. I didn't care that much about it when we were there. I watched and forgot about it like a week later. I was like, oh yeah, that was a movie. But hey, that's us ranting and raving and pissing and moaning about everything dealing with DC fan. Sorry I didn't talk about the Gotham Knights trailer. Megan has not played any of the Arkham Knight games, so trying to talk about that would be like trying to talk about, quantum physics. Megan's not going to know or give a shit about it.
Oh, technically you could, just grab a book, okay.
Yeah, I will say, if you want a quick review from me, I'm interested at least. Cool. I like Arkham games. So, that is our opinions on it. Let us know below more what you were thinking about. I know Zack Snyder fanboys are going to fucking hate me, but I don't care. Fuck yourselves. So, let us know what you're going to watch. I'm pretty sure you're going to be so super stoked about the Black Adam. Thanks to that teaser. But I will try to get y'all some kind of Sunday fun day. I might have something in store. Just need to figure out if I can do it. And until then, I'll see y'all there. So, bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.